Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
It is a new month and a new topic for our podcast. This episode and all month long, we are going to be talking about stress tolerance. You ready for this, Karen?
Yo, ready for this? I am.
Good. So as people know, in America, in the United States, last week we had the holiday of Thanksgiving. And we do know that we have international listeners as well. But it's a pretty big family-oriented holiday that happens here in November.
Yeah, you know what, Jen, it's kind of, well, even though there was, Christmas and holiday things out, I think, at Halloween, now we're in crunch time, right? It is officially, it's after Thanksgiving, it's the holiday seasons, and the holiday seasons are happening all over the world.
They are. And you want to know one way that I know that we have out of the United States listeners?
Tell me how, Jen.
It's because we are ranked number 13 in Kenya under the category of self-improvement. And we got that stat, and we just want to give a shout out.
Thank you, Kenya.
All right. So looking back at, we're going to talk about holidays, but we're going to relate it to the most recent family type celebration that you have. And we're going to equate that into stress tolerance and how it is that we move forward. So Karen, take it away.
So I want you to think about how your, like Jen just said, like your American Thanksgiving just went. And first of all, with regards to stress tolerance, and I'm going to read you the definition that we normally use for stress tolerance when we teach our emotional intelligence classes. And that is, stress tolerance relates to your ability and tendency to live your life effectively in the face of stress. I'm going to read that again. Stress tolerance relates to your ability and tendency to live your life effectively in the face of stress. And you know what, Jen? It's interesting because I think that like stress for some people is a normal part of their life, right? Because it's how you define stress. So I think a big part of this is really defining, like, what is stress for you? And if you think about your Thanksgiving, how stressed were you? Right? Was it that anxiety? Was it the, oh my gosh, you go back to your parents' house or where you grew up, and immediately, you're treated like a 12-year-old again, or you start to act like a 7-year-old again, and all those things that pop up. But as far as stress goes, how was that? And some people are sitting here and saying, it wasn't. It was the friggin' best thing ever. And other people are just like, oh my gosh, it was hell. So what we want people to think about is, what are your reactions to what was going on with stress? And also to understand what did happen and how do you make sure that you don't kind of go into that default mode, because it's going to be a long friggin' December if you do.
Yeah, so let's sort of get in the helicopter, as we like to do, and talk about then, this is the opportunity for the listeners to be able to say, what is your relationship with stress? So using the recent situation of a family holiday or a non-family holiday, because some people don't go and spend it with their family. Sometimes people are alone or they go with friends or whatever. But whatever it is that comes in, it's what's your relationship with stress? How did you view the situation? How did you show up? What was it that helped you manage it? Was there any to begin with? Right? So being able to take a look at how you navigated the last holiday that you've had, and did it add to stress, or did it reduce stress, or was it neutral? So, for example, let's say that you look at in hindsight and you overcommitted. You volunteered at the local food pantry. You decided you were going to run a 5K turkey trot. You were going to make 10 homemade pumpkin pies, and you were going to drive 5 hours to be with family member. And all of a sudden, the volume of data and things that you said yes to started to stress you out, even though you actively agreed to it. Understanding what drove all of those yes, 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 and yes will help you say, what do I want to do to set things up as we go into the next holiday period? So part of it is to really what parts of it did you focus on? Did you focus on the weird situation that makes people uncomfortable, that, whatever happens, right? Or did you focus on all the joy, the love, the togetherness? Did you focus on the solitude that you've been craving? Or did you focus on the fact that you're alone? The way that we see different situations are going to create our stress level.
It's funny, Jen. It's almost like the depending on how you define it, right? The stress is going to be there. And it makes me think of that kind of that quote. I don't know where it comes from, but it's like, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. So the waves are coming, right? The waves are there. What do you want to do with them, right? Do you want to ride a wave? Do you want to duck under a wave? Do you want to get hit by a wave? But that's what it is. So if the waves represent stress, then the stress tolerance piece is learning how to surf. And the question is, do you want to learn how to surf, or you want to just keep getting slammed because the waves aren't going to stop?
It's interesting, Karen, when you talk about that. What I really hear is about acceptance that there are waves, and these situations happen, and then it's how do you want to navigate it. I love that. That's a perfect quote to be able to think through between now and the end of the year, as we have other, they often will say that the holidays are the most stressful time of the year for a lot of people. And that doesn't necessarily need to be true for everybody, but it's how you manage it and how you use stress tolerance to help you get through it. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, we're going to have a whole month. We picked this topic on purpose to be done in the month of December because we know it's when people need it the most. So we will catch you all next week.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.